Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. So all
Yeah.
good. Yay, look at everybody jumping on. It's exciting. Hi. See Courtney, Sierra.
More seizures, more spasms, headaches that feel
Hold
like
on.
numbness.
I'm gonna mute everybody. Oh, hold on. If everybody can mute yourself, I'm trying to figure out how to mute everybody. Do y'all mind? Hey y'all, can you hit the mute button? Sorry, not trying to shut you up, but I know there's a lot of extra noise that can get distracting. I know there's a way I can mute everybody, but I'm not finding it for some reason. Do you know where it is, Christy?
I don't.
Something really loud going on. Okay, hold on. I think I got everybody muted, maybe. Are you muted, Christy?
I'm not. I'm here.
Okay, good. All right, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Sounds great. Yay, I'm so glad everybody's here. I'm Christy Doss, one of your Emerald ambassadors, and then here alongside me is Bethany Spear, newly Emerald ambassador. Yay! So we're both excited just to really get on and just talk about something that's super important that doesn't get a lot of attention, is really customer care. And just with all of the great promotions going on, recently, it's just really good to make sure that you guys are set up for success. You want your customers, your new ambassadors to be successful. And so really just going through these great steps is very important to keep your customers and for them to be successful with their products. This is very important. And really just, you know what, a happy customer makes an awesome ambassador. Who knows, they might want to jump on the business with you one day. So you want to make sure that you take extra care of them as well. So, but one thing is you want to make sure that and Bethany is great at this. She's really wonderful, fabulous at training her team on customer care. So I'm really excited for her to share a lot because she's so good at this. But really, you want to make sure that you have a relationship with your customers. You don't, they're still your friends. You still want to have a relationship outside of them being your customer. You were friends before they became your customer. So you want to continue that relationship outside. You want to continue to touch base with them with questions even outside of Plexus because they are your friend alongside of being your Plexus customer. But two, you want to make sure, even from the start, you want to make sure that you have a way of getting in touch with them. And it's so important to make sure from the beginning that you touch base with them and say, hey, what is the best way to stay in touch? Is it through email? Is it through, Facebook Messenger? Is it texting? What is the best way to get in touch because that is so important for success. You want them to know ahead of time, look, we're going to stay in close touch because I want to help you. If there's no way of getting in touch with them, then they're probably not going to be as successful with the products and fall in love with the products because they work. The products work, but we just have to really stay in touch with them. But I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Bethany. She's so great with customer care. I'm looking forward to you guys listening to her and her sharing her heart with this because she's a gem with this.
Thanks. Okay, so I am super excited. I think everybody kind of has their little niche with this business, something that they just kind of find themselves to be super passionate about. And so mine is definitely customer care. So for my team members, some of this you've probably heard emphasized a lot because this is just kind of my passion and what I really hammer into my team. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about is to talk about why customer care is important. Why do we need to make sure that this is a priority in our business? The first reason is because the reason that we're in this business is because we care about people. So, for most of us, we saw these products working for us. And so that kind of fueled a passion in us to share that with other people. And so we care about people. That's why we're in this business. And so that's why it's so important to take care of our customers. Another reason is we want to protect the integrity of our company. We know that we have amazing products, but if they are not handled the right way, then, you know, people go off saying all these crazy things happen because they don't understand detox, or they're not taking them right, so they claim our products don't work. So we want to protect the integrity of our company. For me personally, it's a pride thing. If I am dedicating so much of my day and my life talking about these products, I sure as heck want to make sure that people see that they work, because if not, that's kind of a bust to my pride, because here I've been talking about this all the time. People see it blowing up my Facebook feed, and then, you know, they're saying, these products don't actually work. So for me, it also is kind of a pride thing. But like Christy said, the majority of people that jump into, which just to kind of let you know, for the most part, I'm kind of going to touch a lot on our ambassadors, but when it comes down to customer care, this is going to also apply to your just preferred customers. But I also really want to touch on our ambassadors, because that's where our business really grows, how we rank up in the company. And so the majority of people don't jump into Plexus for the business. So if you want business builders, then it starts with customer care. Because if your strength, I know a lot of people say that their strength is recruitment. So if your strength is recruitment, but your weakness is retention, then you're just spinning your wheels and you're not getting anywhere with your business. So you have to work on strengthening your retention so that you're not seeing attrition. I know this is something we've really been talking about because of the deal that we just had with our company. My team personally, when they did this deal back in June, we added over 160 people to our team, but our attrition was bad. It was not good, because you can add all the people you want to, but if they're just one and done, it's not helping your business at all. And so it's super important that you strengthen, you strengthen retention, so that you are not just spinning your wheels and you're actually getting somewhere with your business. I was listening to a leadership podcast earlier this week, and I loved this quote. He said, "So many leaders obsess with finding the right strategy, but the best leaders obsess about developing and empowering the right people." And so you can have all the best strategy in the world, but if you're not really empowering your people, and in this case, empowering your people with their products, then it's really not going to do anything for your business. So it's so, so important that you grasp onto customer care, what that looks like practically, so that you are growing your people, that they are falling in love with their products, and you never know if they could be your biggest runner on your team. So just to kind of go through this practically, what customer care looks like. So let's just kind of start from the get-go. You get somebody who signs up. Number one, when it comes to customer care, when you're talking about signing people up wholesale, you should always make sure that you give detailed instructions on how to sign up, and those instructions need to include turning their convenience order on, not skipping that step. I meant to have all this stuff ready, but I think, Christy, I don't know if you have it, the instructions that Lindsay Russell gave us to use. But it very much emphasizes the importance of the convenience order to people and makes it so it's not threatening, so that they understand that you're going to help them go in and change it if they need to. But that is starting to set them up for success from the get-go, because they are going to be getting their products consistently. They're not going to run out of products and therefore restart their cycle of detox. So the number one thing you want to do is to start with good sign-up instructions that include turning on their convenience order. From that point, after your customer signs up, you want to immediately get them instructions on how to take their products. Again, I have a good write-up that I use on basically the triplex, and then I'll add in whatever additional products that they got. And if this is something that you want, if you'd like to see kind of my sign-up instructions, or if you'd like to see my instructions of what I send to people on taking the triplex, feel free to shoot me a message when the call's over, and I will get you all that information. But in that initial message with all of their instructions, like Christy was saying, you want to ask them what the best way is going to be to communicate with them, whether that's going to be email, text, or Facebook. And just kind of from the get-go, you want to set those expectations. Number one, you want to set expectations that, listen, this is not a quick fix. This first 30 days is going to kind of be a trial and error period for us to figure out what works for your body. Because these products work for everyone, but they're not one size fits all. So your needs for these products are going to be different than my needs. And so we're going to have to work together to find out what works for you. And so with that, it's going to take ensuring that we are communicating with each other. So you need to find that good line of communication for them, what's going to work best for them. The next thing that I say is to let me know when you start your products, or let me know when your products come in. You want to know when each of your customers is starting their products, because if you've been on the products, you kind of know when detox might start to set in. I usually kind of settle in at day 3 and say, you know what, this might be where they're really starting to see those headaches or that lack of energy. And so what we want to do is we kind of want to intercept that. We want to know when they're starting so that we can come in and we can kind of say, hey, how are things going so far? I know you may not be seeing any benefits yet, but this is kind of the point where you may start seeing some detox and we may need to adjust. So I just wanted to check in with you, make sure you're not having any issues. So what I like to do, as your business is really starting to grow, it can get crazy trying to keep up with so many people and when they started. So I use my Google Calendar in my phone. And what I will do is I will calculate when day 3 is going to be for each person, and I stick their name in my calendar so that I know, when I wake up that morning, I check my calendar and I know which people that I'm supposed to check in with that day, that they are on their day 3 and maybe hitting that detox. Then from that point on, I follow up weekly. Now, different people do this different ways. For me, I find it's easier to set one day of the week that I use as my customer care day. For me, that's Monday. And so what I like to do is I open up my back office and I go in. If you're not utilizing back office, or if you're not on your customer report and detailed genealogy on a regular basis, then you need to step up your customer care game, because those reports are so important to you, to making sure that you're keeping up with your customers. So what I like to do is I like to go in. I first start with my customer report, and I go from top to bottom of the list, checking in with everybody every week, saying, how are things going? The key thing here when it comes to checking in, because what you're going to get is you're going to say, how are things going? And people are going to say, good. And that's all they're going to give you. And some people may even be having a slight issue, or they may have something. And until you kind of poke and prod, all you're going to get is one-word answers. And we want more than one-word answers. So depending on what their health issue is, you need to ask specific questions. So let's say they came to you, they wanted to start on these products because they are exhausted all the time. And so you're going to want to say, hey, what's going on with your energy? Are you noticing a boost in energy yet? Are you seeing any differences? Or let's say it was, they're constipated. Hey, are you noticing any difference in your bowels? Are you noticing that you're going more? So make sure that you make those questions specific to that customer, so that you make sure that you are kind of nailing on the head their specific issues and not just a general, how are things? Another thing that I like to do is I like to send people testimonies that have to do with their health issue. So maybe this is somebody who you think is going to be a little bit more difficult to get going on the products. And so you're going to go out of the way and you're going to kind of search and find out, other people who have had success with this. So you encourage them to keep going. This isn't something that I necessarily do for everybody. But if it is a major health issue and they're just, it's one of those things that we know that it takes a while to see the ship turn around. But for them, they're looking for that kind of quick fix. And so it's going to take a little bit more, encouragement for them to really keep going with the products and seeing that other people have seen a difference. It's just taken a little bit of time. So sending those testimonies is huge for people. But then when you talk about going to people weekly, which number one, I talked about hitting your customer report, but you want to do the same thing with your wholesale ambassadors. And this goes back to what I was saying before is just really treating them like VIP customers, because they really are your business builders. And so if you are adding those people as wholesale customers, but they're not seeing a difference in their products, then you're getting nowhere with your business. So make sure you're not just going to your customer report, but you're going through your wholesale customers too, and making sure that things are going well for them. Now, there are some customers who, let's say you come to them and they're having major issues and they're saying, hey, I'm not seeing anything. Hey, I'm majorly constipated or something like that. You're going to need to check in more than just once a week, especially that week that they came to you with that. Adjust things for them. And then you want to check in another 2 days and say, hey, how did that adjustment work? When we changed things up, did you notice any differences? Troubleshooting is what we do. And if you're new to the company and you're new to the products, you might not be as familiar with what you're supposed to kind of move around to help people. And that's okay. That's what your uplines are for. So if your customer is having an issue, turn around and go and ask your upline. Say, hey, so-and-so is struggling with constipation. This is what their dosaging is at. How can I adjust this for them? And I know your upline, would be happy to help you. But you want to make sure that you are helping them troubleshoot. You're helping them adjust their products so that they're seeing these benefits. And then, like I said, some people are going to take more work than others. So just make sure that you are being faithful and committed to finding what works for those people. I, for one, was somebody who signed up with no intention to work the business. I saw Christy posting and I was super skeptical. I did the Google search, read all the horrible reviews, and took a step back. And then my curiosity got the best of me, and so I jumped in, but I told her, no way, never, ever will I ever sell. But finding what worked for me, finding that the products truly changed my health, made me passionate about it and made me want to share. So when you find what works for people, they are going to become your best business builders. I think that's how so many testimonies start. I had no intention of working the business until these products changed my life. So that's why this is so, so important. Now, when it comes to just your customers, your preferred customers, you want to make sure, they're all set up with an auto shipment date. And something that I like to do for my preferred customers is I send them reminders of their auto shipment dates about 4 to 5 days before they're set to go out. So again, this is something that I do on Mondays. I go through that customer report and I look and see whose auto shipments are coming up that week, so I know who to send a reminder to. This is something that I really ensure people of when I sign them up, is just that I'm going to do this for them. So with that being said, you really should never sign people up as a retail customer. There's no need for it other than the fact they're just wasting their money. If you explain a preferred customer account the right way, then people are not going to sign up retail. And as most of us probably know, a preferred customer business-wise benefits you a lot more than a retail customer does, because you're getting that product bonus off of preferred customers. And so, again, if this is something that you want to see as far as what I send people when they are looking to buy products as a customer, you can send me a message and I'll send that to you. But what I tell them is to sign up as a preferred customer, and it's going to set you up with an auto shipment, but you can cancel it at any time, and I will always remind you 4 to 5 days before it's set to go out so that you can edit or cancel it. And And so that's something that you want to make sure that you are telling your customers, and something you want to make sure you are doing for your customers, so that they're not caught off guard and they're not saying like, oh, I didn't even know that was going to go through. This company, you know, just took money from me and I didn't even know it was going to happen. Another thing when it comes to good customer care is, at all cost, call customer service for people. Now, I know that there are instances where they have to be on the phone, but even then, if you could kind of set a time with them and say, hey, I'm going to call and I'm going to sit on hold, but they may have to call you. Is that okay? If you get a call from Arizona, just answer it and we can get this settled. But that's such a hassle for people. I mean, I'm an ambassador and it's a hassle for me. So if you're not invested and committed to this company, that's really going to be a hassle for people. So if you can, at all costs, then you want to call into customer service to kind of resolve their issues for them. Trying to see if I forgot anything. I think that's it. Did I forget anything, Christy?
Yeah, that was wonderful. Does anybody have any questions?
I know that's quick. I talk really fast.
You were on point. You got it great. You did great. Good job.
Feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question if you want.
When you check in with people, do you check in with all levels?
No. So this is where duplication is key. This is why I really pour into my level ones the importance of customer care, in the hopes that they are going to then duplicate that down to their team. So no, I check in with my personal wholesale customers, and then obviously my level ones. And then, you know, when you're signing people up, you really want to emphasize all of this to them and train them to do the same, because that's not sustainable. I mean, you get to a certain point, like I have like 760 people on my team right now. There's no way I could keep up with all those people. So if you don't duplicate that down, then you're really gonna, you know, kind of lose people.
Gotcha. Also, I would totally love for you to share like what charts you use for starting up Triplex. I have like a day-to-day one and a phase one.
Okay.
And I mean, I think they're both good. I'm just kind of curious to see what you.
Yeah. I actually personally, I don't use charts. I use written out instructions. That's kind of personal preference. Sometimes I might use the charts. Most of the charts are that slow start schedule. And I don't really start my people on the slow start schedule. I kind of start them slowly, but on all their products at the same time, unless they have specific issues. So let's say they have severe constipation. I'm not going to start them on the ProBio 5 right away. I'm just going to get them started with Slim and BioCleanse at first, and then introduce the ProBio 5 later. So as a whole, like I said, I have written out instructions that I send to people, which talks to them about really just kind of reading their own body and figuring out when they need to increase things. And then that's where it becomes so important that I check in with them weekly, so that when I'm checking in with them, I'm asking them where their dosages are at that point. You know, what point because some people aren't going to feel comfortable moving up in their ProBio 5 for a week or two. Some people are going to not see detox and they're going to move up quickly. So when you're doing that weekly check-in, just kind of say, hey, where's your dosage and your schedule at? Figuring out each week what dosages they're taking of everything and when they're taking them. And so that helps you kind of keep track of where they're at with things.
Hey, and Bethany, maybe we can post that.
What is your best advice to give people during detox? Like just up the probiotic, drink more water?
Sorry, you cut out for a second there. Can you say that one more time?
I said, what's your best advice that you give people going through bad detox?
Oh, okay.
Is that like take more ProBio and water?
I mean, obviously, number one, I always check on their water intake, and that's super important. Something I'm about to do on my team page is what I'm calling a chug-a-jug challenge. When we were at corporate, they talked about, they did this at corporate headquarters. They had a water drinking challenge. I'm going to do it on my team page so that I am making sure that people are drinking their water, because that is the number one thing. It's hard to keep up with, I know, if you're not drinking water. But yeah, number one, I'm gonna do that. And honestly, it depends what the detox is. So depending on what the detox is will depend on what you adjust. Usually heavy detox is actually you're needing a decrease in ProBio 5, because what's happening is your body is killing things off faster than it can keep up with. And so what I always like to tell people when they get discouraged is that what's going on in your gut is kind of like a civil war between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And when you are trying to fight off the bad, it's going to fight back. And so when it's being killed off, it's releasing toxins. And if it's releasing too many at a time, your body's just going to have a total freak out. For me personally, I moved up way too fast with my ProBio 5. I've always dealt with skin breakouts, and I broke out like a teenager. I mean, it was horrible. And then I figured out, whoa, like I'm going way too fast, and I had to bump it back so my body could adjust, and then I could slowly increase it again. So if people are seeing just like way too much of detox at once, a lot of times you need to pull back that ProBio 5 for a bit till their body adjusts, and then you can slowly increase it again.
And just tell them to stay at where they're at, like not to up anything, just
Yes.
kind of wrap it out.
Mm-hmm. Until they see those symptoms kind of, fading off.
Okay, cool.
Anybody else? I see that baby, Sierra. I'm going to come through the camera.
Hey, Bethany, when you post this recording, I would love to put a copy of your schedule.
Yeah.
Underneath it.
Yeah.
On my well.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with using the charts. Just for me personally, I found that the written ones seem to work better for my customers at this point. That's just kind of what I found. I did go back and forth where I did all at once, then I did slow start. The thing about doing all at once is it helps people stay on track with their products, because when they do the slow start, then they've got this excess of ProBio 5, but they're out of Slim, and they still have a little bit more of BioCleanse, and so they're all over the place with their products. And honestly, just talking about looking out for the customer, it saves them money to order the triplex together rather than in separate pieces. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but if you buy those products separately, it costs more than it does in the triplex combo, not to mention extra shipping when you're ordering things separately. So that's kind of another reason I try to do it all at the same time, so it's keeping their products running out at the same time.
Thanks, Bethany and Christy. I've got to go.
Oh, no problem.
You guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. If nobody else has any more questions, then I guess that's a wrap. This was
I didn't
wonderful.
check that. Oh, hold on. I'm just now checking the chat. Okay. Let's see. How often do you follow up with your people after detox? Yes. So I still check in on my people once a week, no matter what, even if things are going well. Now let's say they've been like, I have some customers who have been customers of mine for a year or more. I do check in with them once a month. They're not people that I check in with weekly. You can kind of tell when you hit a point with people that they're like, I got this. You don't need to check on me anymore. They'll just kind of stop responding. Now, if you get people who stop responding like early on, don't stop checking in with people. At least do your part and give it a shot. But if these are people that have been with you and, you know, they've let you know, hey, I've hit my groove, I found what's working for me, and they stop answering, not a big deal. And it's really not important to keep checking in with them every single week. Anybody else? If you don't want to speak up, you can go into the chat. Any of my introverts. Awesome. Well, I did, assuming it worked, because I'm the queen of recording not working, but it does say recording. So I'm assuming it did record. So as soon as I get it uploaded, I'll get it posted, because I know I had several people on my team who couldn't make it. So.
All right, sounds awesome. Thank you, Bethany.
Yeah.
Great seeing everybody. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.